Hello, first grade. Today we're going to be reading a little bit of this book, and it is called All About Money, Discovering the History, Purpose, and Effect of Money. So we're not going to read this whole thing because it has lots of really awesome things to it, but it's kind of long and there's lots of different sections. So we're just going to read a couple of the sections today. So let's start out with this one, very first page. It says, what is money? This sounds like a simple question, doesn't it? Money is the change in your pocket, the bills in your wallet, the balance in your bank account, right? Well, to some people it is, but to other people, money can come in the form of giant stones, tiny seashells, even cocoa beans. That's because money isn't a particular object, it's more like an idea. For this reason, it's actually easier to explain what money does than what money is. Anything can serve as money as long as it does the following three things. Money should make it easier to exchange things. Before money was invented, people used to use the barter system. With this system, if you had a pig but you needed some flour, you found someone who had flour but no pig and traded with him. But if no one wanted a pig, then you had to go without flour. Plus, you were stuck carting around your pig until you found someone who wanted it. But once the concept of money was invented, you could sell your pig to the butcher and then take that money to the local miller to buy a sack of flour. The miller could then take that money to the butcher and buy some bacon. The butcher could take it to the tailor and buy a suit, and so on. So before money was invented, people would barter. So that means they would trade. So just like these two boys are trading, it looks like he's trading can of toys for a Hulk. So instead of buying something, you would trade, like they were saying. So if I wanted a pig, if I had a pig but I wanted flour, I'd have to go to the flour person and I'd give them my pig and they'd give me their flour. That's called bartering. Next thing, money should help you compare the value of things that are quite different. Which is worth more, a pound of bacon or a pound of flour? How would you decide? Money makes this task simple. We can say that bacon is worth $2 and the flour is worth 50 cents. How is this determined? By how much it costs to make each product, how much of each product is available for sale, and how big the demand is, so how much people want. Finally, money should keep track of how much wealth you have. You can keep track of your wealth in all sorts of ways, including real estate, stocks, bonds, even animals, but money is one of the best ways to store and keep track of wealth. Because unlike these other assets or things that you own, it costs nothing to store and you can use it immediately. With the other assets, you have to sell them before you can use that wealth to buy other things. Plus, flour can go bad and pigs can get sick. With money, you don't have these problems. So there's the flour going bad and the pigs getting sick. So if all my wealth, everything I owned was just pigs, and I had lots and lots of pigs, and I said, I'm rich, I have lots of pigs, but what if my pigs got sick? But money, I can say, I'm rich, I have lots of money, my money's not going to get sick, and it's not going to disappear just like that. So let's see, what other pages? Ooh, let's do this one, early forms of money. This one's pretty cool. What are those big rocks for? Let's see. People haven't always used bills, that's like the paper, and coins as money. As we mentioned earlier, before money was invented, people used the barter system, trading pigs for lumber, lumber for food, food for clothing, and so on. But this system only worked on a small scale, providing you could find someone who had what you wanted and wanted what you had. Eventually, someone got the idea of giving someone a token or a note instead of the actual thing they wanted. This way, if you wanted to trade your pig for flour, but the miller had all the bacon he could use, you could just give him a token, like an IOU, that said he could come back and get the pig whenever he wanted it. The token didn't have any value, and only stood for something that had value, the pig. Soon people realized that if everyone agreed to use the same token, they could simply trade tokens to get the things they wanted. For example, the miller gave you enough flour to equal 1 pig, you gave him 10 tokens, which equaled 1 pig. The miller could either bring these tokens back to you and exchange them for the pig, or if he wasn't in the mood for pork chops, he could take them down the market and buy some fruits and vegetables. This token is what we now call money. Now, this is strange types of money throughout history. Throughout history, people have used all sorts of money. The Yap Islanders in the South Pacific used giant stone wheels with holes in the middle. Some of these stood 12 feet tall and weighed 500 pounds. Other people have used shark's teeth, feathers, and even braids of hair. Sometimes the tokens used for money had value in and of themselves, such as gold or cattle. At other times, people used common objects, such as shells or beans, to keep track of their wealth. But rare and valuable items worked best because they weren't easy to get or copy. For instance, if a society used cocoa beans for money, there was nothing stopping people from simply picking more beans and increasing their wealth. Governments eventually took control of the money system, so this couldn't happen. Now the only money that's valid, or the only money that's real, is money that the government supplies. So you can't just go draw your own dollar bill and take it to the store. They'll say, that's not real. You can't print your own fake money and use it. That's not allowed. You have to use the money that the government printed. So sometimes people use these big stone wheels. This is just a funny picture. They didn't actually try to put them in their pockets. Or they use shark teeth as money a long time ago. And in some places, they still use other things. Let's see. What other things do we want to learn about? There's a lot of good stuff in here. Ooh, let's do this one. Because we have our dollar bill, right? We have the $5 bill, the $10 bill. We have coins like quarters and stuff. But other countries have different things. Different countries, different currencies. Currency means the kind of money that you use. The American dollar may be the most widely accepted currency form of money in the world, but it isn't the only one. Every country or region has its own form of money. Here are a few samples from other English-speaking countries. So these are just other countries that speak English, but there are lots of countries all over the world that speak other languages, and they have different types of money. Just like America, the basic unit of Canadian currency is the dollar. However, the Canadian dollar no longer comes in the form of a bill. As of 1987, it was replaced by a bronze-colored coin, nicknamed the loonie, after the loon which appears on the front of the coin. Canadians also have $2 coins nicknamed the twonie, introduced in 1996. Higher Canadian denominations come in the form of bills, including $5, $10, $20, $50, $100, and $1,000 bill denominations. They also have 50-cent pieces, quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies. So Canada, they have, instead of a $1 bill, they have a $1 coin, and that's what people use. Australia money shares much of the same aspects as its American and Canadian cousins. For one thing, their basic unit of currency is also the dollar. And like Canada, Australia has replaced its $1 and $2 bills with coins. The other coins used by Australians are similar to those used in Canada and the United States, except for one thing. In 1992, the Australian government started removing 1 and 2 cent coins from circulation. Now the smallest Australian coin in 1 and 2 cent coins. Now the smallest Australian coin in circulation is the 5-cent piece. So they don't have any pennies that cost 1 cent. The lowest they have is a coin that costs 5 cents. Great Britain. The basic unit of British currency is called the pound sterling. It gets its name from the fact that it used to represent 1 pound of silver. Up until 1971, 1 pound could be broken down into 20 shillings of 12 pence, or pennies each. A penny could be further broken down into 4 farthings. Today, 1 pound simply equals 100 pence, or pennies. The pound sterling comes in the form of a coin. The British also have a 2-pound coin. The rest of its coins are similar to those in America, Australia, and Canada, except for they use pence instead of cents. Therefore, they have a 1 pence coin, a 2 pence coin, and so on. So here's some of the other countries. It looks like this is the Australian bill. This is the United States bill. This is the one of the Canadian bills. And what's this one? Oh, this is the British bill. So other countries have different forms of money, but they use it the same way. They use it to spend, right? Let's see. We'll do this one because we've been talking about how to spend our money on needs and wants, right? Other things you can do with money. Okay, you got a job, started a business, or invested some money and made a profit. Congratulations! But now that you have money, what can you do with it? Spend it. The first thing most people want to do with money is spend it. You might want to buy some new clothes, a video game, or maybe some tasty snacks. You can spend your money on basically two main things: wants and needs. Wants are things you would like to own but can do without. These include things like toys and candy bars. Needs are things you can't do without. You have to have them. These include things like paying bills, which is money that you owe, buying shoes, school supplies, and so forth. You should always make sure all your needs are met before you spend money on wants. So it's saying you need to buy your needs first before you buy your wants. We've been talking about that, right? Save it. It's fun to spend money, but it's always wise to keep some back for emergencies or for a time when you aren't earning money. You can also save money so that you're able to afford more expensive things that you might want or need, such as a bike, a new pair of fancy jeans, or an education after high school. University or college may seem like a long way off, but it will come sooner than you think. Give. Giving money to people who don't have enough to meet their needs or to charitable organizations that rely on donations to survive is also a good thing to do. So this is talking about giving, donating, which we talked about before. Factoid: be a wise spender. Everyone has a limited amount of money to spend. Nobody has just forever money. Oh, sorry, I got a little call. I gotta finish this up. That means that before you spend money, you should shop around, compare prices, and make sure you're getting the best value for your dollar. Remember, the cheapest item is not always the best. Things are usually cheap for a reason. They're poor quality. But often items that cost more are really no better. Do yourself a favor and research the product you want to buy. The goal is to come up with the best value for their money, the best quality at the best price. So this girl looks like she has saved up maybe for college. This is a little kid trying to decide how to spend his money. So those are just a couple things that we learned all about money. We learned about what is money, something that you use to buy things, and it gives things value, gives items value. We also talked about old types of money, like people who use rocks or shark teeth or shells for money. And we talked about also different currencies. And then lastly, we talked about what you can do with your money. You can spend it on needs and wants, save it, give it. Alrighty, we'll see. Maybe we'll read some more of this another day. All right, bye.